Over 60? Your kidneys are begging you to eat these 4 vegetables, lower creatinine naturally. Millions of individuals over the age of 60 in America approach their daily meals with the belief that they are actively pursuing a longer, healthier life. They diligently avoid fried foods, steer clear of sugary beverages, and consciously choose vegetables as a cornerstone of their diet. This conscious effort often brings a sense of reassurance, a feeling of doing the right thing for their well-being. However, a concerning thought emerges. What if some of the very foods considered healthy on their plates are subtly placing a strain on their kidneys? The unsettling reality is that kidney stress often manifests without pain. It can present as subtle signs, such as swollen feet, difficulty sleeping, persistent fatigue, involuntary muscle cramps, or an altered heart rhythm. Many individuals attribute these symptoms to the natural aging process, rarely suspecting their dietary choices. This is because kidneys typically do not announce trouble with an urgent alarm. Instead, they whisper. And by the time these whispers become impossible to ignore, significant damage may have already occurred. In the coming moments, we will explore 4 vegetables commonly celebrated for their health benefits that, for some adults over 60, could pose a hidden challenge. We will also present 4 safer alternatives. By the end of this discussion, you might realize that one of your most frequently consumed foods could be the very one your kidneys have been silently struggling with. The first food we will consider might be quite surprising, as it is a staple found in nearly every American household. You see it incorporated into pasta dishes, enriching soups, enhancing sandwiches, gracing salads, and appearing in meals that look wholesome, vibrant, and heart-healthy. We are referring to tomatoes. It is crucial to clarify this point to avoid unnecessary concern. A few slices of fresh tomato are generally not problematic for the majority of people. A fresh tomato adorning a salad or a modest slice on a sandwich is quite different from a large bowl of thick tomato sauce. The potential issue often arises when tomatoes are cooked down, reduced, canned, or concentrated. This includes products like tomato sauce, tomato paste, canned tomato soup, ketchup, and hearty red pasta sauces. When tomatoes are concentrated, the potassium content within them also becomes more concentrated. For individuals over the age of 60, this increased potassium level can become more significant than many realize. Potassium is essential for the body. It supports muscle function, nerve activity, and cardiac health. However, maintaining the correct balance of potassium is vital. When kidneys are functioning optimally, they effectively remove excess potassium from the bloodstream. Conversely, as kidney function weakens, particularly in individuals managing conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, elevated creatinine levels, or a reduced estimated glomerular filtration rate, potassium can begin to accumulate. An excessive rise in potassium can negatively impact the heart's rhythm. This explains how a meal that appears perfectly healthy on the surface can still be too taxing for someone whose kidneys are already compromised. Consider the example of an individual who, after retirement, decides to prioritize his health. He eliminates fast food, abstains from soda, and cuts back on fried items. Each weekend, he prepares homemade pasta sauce using tomato paste, canned tomatoes, olive oil, and herbs. He feels proud of his efforts, and rightly so. He is cooking at home, avoiding greasy takeout and processed junk food. However, over time, he starts experiencing feelings of weakness, tires more easily, and occasionally notices his heart skipping a beat. Upon medical examination, his potassium levels are found to be higher than expected. He is shocked, as in his mind, he was adhering to all the right dietary principles. This highlights a critical point. After the age of 60, the danger is not always associated with foods that appear unhealthy. Sometimes it is the foods that look healthy but are consumed too frequently in a concentrated form that can cause problems. Does this mean you should discard all tomatoes from your kitchen? Not necessarily. The aim is not to instill fear around food, but to understand the distinction between fresh and concentrated forms. If your kidney health is being monitored, you may need to reduce your consumption of tomato sauce, be mindful of large portions of tomato paste, and exercise caution with canned tomato soup or ketchup if they are frequent components of your meals. Instead, consider incorporating flavors from roasted red bell peppers, garlic, onion, basil, parsley, lemon juice, or various herbs. These can add zest without an over-reliance on tomato products. Often, small adjustments in food preparation can significantly reduce the burden on your body. The second food we will discuss is even more familiar. For many Americans, it evokes feelings of home, comfort, warmth, and softness. It is a common sight at dinner tables, in restaurants, during holiday gatherings, and on plates across the nation. This food is potatoes. Potatoes themselves are not inherently detrimental. The concern arises from their significant potassium content. When kidney filtering capacity diminishes, the body can struggle to manage this potassium effectively. Many people believe that the only problematic potato preparation is French fries, leading them to opt for baked potatoes instead, thinking it's a healthier choice. While baking is often preferable to deep frying in many respects, for kidney health, the issue extends beyond the oil. It is the potassium content that matters. A single baked potato can contain a substantial amount of potassium. Sweet potatoes also tend to be high in potassium. Mashed potatoes, roasted potatoes, baked potatoes, and sweet potato casseroles can quickly add up, especially when consumed frequently or as part of the same meal. Picture a grandmother at a family reunion. She has been making an effort to eat more healthily, opting out of cake and sugary drinks and avoiding fried appetizers. Yet, on her plate, she has mashed potatoes, sweet potato casserole, and a few roasted potatoes. Everything is homemade, appears traditional, and feels like a comforting family meal. However, later that evening, she feels weak, her muscles feel heavy, her heart begins to beat irregularly, and she experiences lightheadedness. Medical professionals discover that her potassium levels have become dangerously high. This is a realization many older adults struggle with. Homemade does not always equate to kidney safe. Natural does not always mean safe in large quantities, and comfort food can still be too much for a body that has undergone age-related changes. So, what should you do if you enjoy potatoes? The first step is not to panic. The solution may not always involve complete avoidance, but rather more careful preparation. If your physician or a renal dietitian advises that potatoes can fit into your diet, one method to consider is peeling them, cutting them into small, thin pieces, soaking them in water, discarding the soaking water, and then boiling them in fresh water. This process can help reduce some of the potassium content compared to baking a whole potato. Portion size is also a critical factor. A small serving is vastly different from a large baked potato. Furthermore, if your potassium levels need careful monitoring, it is advisable to avoid combining mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, and roasted potatoes on the same plate. As the saying goes, a little may be fine, but too much of a good thing is still too much, a sentiment that holds particularly true for kidney health. The third food on our list is likely one of the most surprising, given its exceptionally healthy reputation. People consume it for energy, to improve circulation, and often refer to it as a detoxifying food, believing it aids in blood purification, supports heart health, and promotes a more youthful feeling. This food is beets. Beets possess a deep red hue that lends them an appearance of potency, suggesting a healing quality. For individuals with robust health, beets can indeed be a beneficial addition to their diet. However, For adults over 60 who have kidney concerns, beets warrant careful consideration. The issue here is not solely potassium. It also involves oxalates. Oxalates are naturally occurring compounds found in certain plant-based foods. When an excessive amount of oxalate enters the body, it can bind with calcium, forming crystals. For individuals predisposed to calcium oxalate kidney stones, or those whose kidneys are already under stress, this can become a significant concern. However, this is where many people encounter difficulties. The primary issue is rarely a few bites of cooked beets. A more substantial concern arises from concentrated forms, such as beet juice, beet powder, beet shots, or daily beet smoothies. When you juice beets, you can consume a far greater quantity than you would typically eat in a single sitting. A single glass of beet juice might contain an amount of beets that most people would never consume at one meal. This is why a beverage can appear healthy, yet still impose a considerable load on the kidneys. Imagine your kidneys as an older coffee filter. When the filter is new, water passes through with ease. However, as the filter ages, becomes worn and partially clogged, pouring thick liquids through it repeatedly makes its task more challenging. This is akin to what concentrated juices and powders can represent for kidneys with diminished function. Increased potassium, elevated oxalates, higher mineral content, and greater pressure are all placed upon them. The most challenging aspect is that individuals often consume these products with the intention of improving their health. For instance, a 68-year-old man, seeing beet juice promoted online, has high blood pressure and a slowly rising creatinine level. He seeks a natural solution and begins drinking beet juice each morning, feeling proud and believing he is detoxifying his body. Yet, after several weeks, he experiences increased fatigue, leg cramps, and his laboratory results do not improve as expected. He eventually realizes that what might be beneficial for a young athlete with healthy kidneys may not be suitable for a 68-year-old body with slower filtration. This underscores the importance of being cautious with every detox trend encountered online. Not all foods labeled as superfoods are appropriate for every individual. If you enjoy beets and your doctor has given you the okay, a safer approach might involve consuming a small, cooked, or roasted portion. However, if you have kidney disease, high potassium levels, rising creatinine, or a history of kidney stones, it is essential to avoid incorporating beet juice, beet powder, or beet shots into your daily routine without professional guidance. They may not be detoxifying your system. They could simply be increasing the workload for your kidneys. Now we arrive at the fourth vegetable. This one may surprise even more people because it is green. When people see green, they often associate it with safety, assuming it is suitable for salads, blended into smoothies, added to omelets, soups, wraps, and health bowls. Many older adults consume it believing it provides essential iron, vitamins, and anti-aging benefits. We are talking about spinach. Again, spinach is not an inherently bad food for everyone. For many healthy individuals, spinach can be highly nutritious. However, if you have kidney concerns, high potassium levels, a history of kidney stones, or if your doctor has advised you to monitor your kidney numbers, spinach warrants caution. The reason is that spinach can be high in potassium and is also very high in oxalates. This becomes particularly significant when spinach is consumed in large or concentrated quantities. A few leaves on a plate are one thing. A large green smoothie every morning is entirely different. Many people add one large handful of spinach to their smoothies, followed by another, then supplement with banana, almond milk, beet powder, celery, fruit, or green powders. They blend everything together and consume it quickly. Visually, it appears clean, natural, and like a glass of pure health. However, for weakened kidneys, That glass may contain more potassium and oxalates than the body is prepared to handle. This is why healthy should never imply unlimited, especially after the age of 60. A food can be nutritious and still be excessive when consumed too often, in too large a portion, or in a concentrated form. So, what should you do regarding spinach? Do not become apprehensive of all green vegetables. That is not the intended message. However, if you have kidney disease, kidney stones, high potassium, or concerning kidney test results, be mindful of daily spinach smoothies. Exercise caution when combining spinach with other high-potassium foods, such as potatoes, tomato sauce, beet juice, bananas, or certain milk alternatives. If you have a history of calcium oxalate kidney stones, consult your doctor or a renal dietitian regarding appropriate spinach consumption. The goal is straightforward. Do not assume that every green food is safe in any amount. Your body, after the age of 60, deserves a greater degree of consideration. After hearing all of this, you might be wondering, goodness gracious, what vegetables are even left for me? This feeling is understandable. No one wants to sit at the dinner table feeling as though everything is off limits, nor does anyone want food to become a source of fear. The objective is not to diminish the enjoyment of your meals, but to make smarter substitutions. A well-chosen alternative can help you feel full, satisfied, and safer without placing an undue burden on your kidneys. The first superior choice is cauliflower. Cauliflower is not flashy or dramatic. It is not the kind of food people boast about at the grocery store. However, for kidney-friendly eating, cauliflower can be one of the most intelligent vegetables to keep in your kitchen. It contains significantly less potassium than potatoes, and is also naturally low in sodium and phosphorus. This makes it a gentler option for many individuals who need to monitor their kidney health. And here is the best part. Cauliflower can effectively replace one of the most comforting foods in the American diet, mashed potatoes. If you enjoy something soft, warm, and satisfying at dinner, try mashed cauliflower. Steam it until tender, mash it until smooth, and add a touch of olive oil, garlic, pepper, parsley, or lemon. It can still provide a creamy, comforting texture without imposing the same. Potassium load on your kidneys as a generous serving of mashed potatoes. This is what kidney-friendly eating should feel like. Not a punishment, not a source of fear, and not bland, but simply a more intelligent version of something you already enjoy. Cauliflower can be steamed, roasted, mashed, added to soups, or lightly sautéed. It readily absorbs flavors, allowing you to enhance its taste without resorting to excessive salt or heavy sauces. One small, consistent swap is how better health is cultivated. The second excellent choice is red bell peppers. Red bell peppers are often treated as mere decorative elements, with a few slices added to a salad to enhance its visual appeal. However, for kidney-friendly cooking, red bell peppers can serve a far more valuable purpose. They contain relatively low levels of potassium compared to many other denser vegetables. They contribute natural sweetness, vibrant color, vitamin C, beta-carotene, and antioxidants. But their most significant advantage is their ability to help substitute for tomato sauce. This is particularly relevant because many people who give up fast food continue to consume tomato sauce, tomato paste, canned tomato soup, or ketchup almost daily, believing they are eating healthily. However, for compromised kidneys, these concentrated tomato products can be excessive. Roasted red bell peppers can offer color, sweetness, and a rich flavor without the heavy reliance on tomato-based ingredients. You can roast them until their edges soften and darken slightly. They can be blended into a sauce, sliced raw into salads, sautéed with garlic and olive oil, or incorporated into soups, stir-fries, or stuffed dishes. They lend a bright and satisfying quality to food. For many older adults, this is crucial because food still needs to taste appealing. A dietary plan that is disliked is unlikely to be sustained. However, a simple substitution that maintains flavor has a much greater chance of becoming a habit. Third superior choice is cabbage. Cabbage might not be considered exciting or fancy, nor is it expensive. Most people do not classify it as a superfood. Yet cabbage is one of those understated vegetables that can be incredibly beneficial in everyday meals. It is naturally low in potassium, phosphorus, and sodium. It can help make your plate feel fuller without placing the same kind of burden on your kidneys as potatoes, tomato paste, beet juice, or large spinach smoothies. Cabbage is also practical. You can slice it thinly for a crunchy salad, cook it until tender for dinner, add it to soup, or lightly sauté it with garlic, onion, pepper, and a small amount of olive oil. It can be prepared in a warm and comforting manner without requiring excessive salt. Cabbage also belongs to the cruciferous vegetable family. Similar to cauliflower, these vegetables contain natural plant compounds that may offer support to the body against oxidative stress. Cabbage also provides vitamin C and vitamin K. However, it is important to note, if you are taking blood-thinning medication, especially warfarin, consult your doctor about maintaining consistent vitamin K intake in your diet. Avoid suddenly consuming a large amount one day and none the next. Consistency is key when managing medication and nutrition. For someone who previously consumed potatoes nightly, cabbage can become a very useful substitute. It provides volume, warmth, and something to chew. When cooked with garlic and herbs, it can be surprisingly satisfying. It may not be glamorous, but as many older individuals would attest, it effectively serves its purpose. And sometimes, that is precisely what good food should do. The fourth beneficial choice is garlic. Garlic is small, inexpensive, and readily available. It may already be a fixture in your kitchen. However, for individuals over 60, garlic offers a significant advantage. It creates robust flavor without the need for salt, which is a considerable benefit. Excessive. Salt intake can elevate blood pressure, and high blood pressure is a primary contributor to kidney damage over time. When the pressure within the blood vessels remains elevated, the delicate blood vessels within the kidneys are subjected to constant stress. Day after day, this can weaken the kidney's filtering capabilities. Therefore, every time you reduce salt while still ensuring your food remains enjoyable, you are benefiting both your heart and your kidneys. Garlic can aid in this process. When fresh garlic is crushed or chopped, natural sulfur compounds become active, contributing to its strong aroma. The true daily benefit, however, is simple. Garlic makes healthier food taste better, which is more significant than many people realize. Many older adults find it challenging to adhere to kidney-friendly diets because the food often lacks flavor. Doctors recommend reducing salt, and family members suggest eating healthier. But when meals taste bland, old habits can quickly resurface. Garlic can help make this transition easier. You can use garlic in soups, sautéed cabbage, mashed cauliflower, roasted red bell pepper sauce, fish, chicken, beans, and vegetable dishes. Even a small amount can impart a warmer aroma, richer taste, and a more satisfying experience to food. Here is a simple tip. Crush or chop fresh garlic and let it sit for about 10 minutes before cooking. Then, add it to your food over moderate heat. Try to avoid burning it, as burnt garlic can become bitter. Remember, garlic is not a substitute for medication or professional medical advice, but it can support healthier eating habits by helping you reduce salt intake without sacrificing flavor. This is important because your heart and kidneys work in tandem. The heart pumps blood and the kidneys filter it. When blood pressure is high, blood vessels become rigid and the heart must work harder. The kidneys also experience this increased pressure. Therefore, when your meals contribute to better blood pressure management, lighter eating, and reduced salt intake, your kidneys also benefit. Now, let us bring this comprehensive picture together. The central message is not that vegetables are inherently bad. Rather, it is that after the age of 60, your body may process certain foods differently than it did in younger years. Fresh tomatoes might be perfectly fine for many, but concentrated forms like tomato sauce, tomato paste, ketchup, and canned tomato soup can contribute excessive potassium if consumed too frequently. Potatoes, while comforting, can provide more potassium than weakened kidneys can remove when consumed in large portions as baked potatoes, mashed potatoes, or sweet potatoes. Beets, often lauded as a superfood, may present too high a concentration of potassium and oxalates in beet juice, beet powder, or beet shots for individuals with reduced kidney function or a history of kidney stones. Spinach, despite its nutritional value, can overload the kidneys with potassium and oxalates when consumed in large quantities, such as in daily spinach smoothies, salads, or green drinks. On the other hand, cauliflower can be an excellent alternative to potatoes. Red bell peppers can substitute for thick tomato sauces, offering sweetness and color. Cabbage can enhance the fullness of meals and is gentler on the kidneys as it contains less potassium, phosphorus, and sodium. Garlic, in turn, can help you reduce your salt intake while ensuring your food remains delicious. This is not about fostering fear. It is about cultivating wisdom. Your kidneys have diligently served you for decades, filtering your blood through countless meals, stressful periods, instances of dehydration, excessive salt intake, medication use, and times when minor warning signs were overlooked. At this stage of life, your kidneys do not require perfection. They require attention. They need you to pause before a meal and ask a simple question. Is this food helping my kidneys carry a lighter load, or is it increasing their workload? This question can transform your eating habits. It may lead you to use less tomato sauce, consume smaller portions of potatoes, forego daily beet juice, reduce your intake of large spinach smoothies, incorporate cauliflower into your dinner, utilize red bell peppers for flavor, cook cabbage with garlic, and reach for herbs instead of more salt. These changes might seem minor, but maintaining good health after 60 is often achieved through small, consistent choices. One meal at a time, one ingredient at a time, one better decision at a time. Your kidneys may be silent, but silence does not imply inactivity. Every meal is a message you send to your body, and starting today, you can send a different message. I am taking better care of you. Before we conclude, I want to gently remind you of something important. This information is intended for general educational purposes only. It is not meant to cause alarm and does not replace the advice of your healthcare provider. If you have kidney disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, kidney stones, high potassium levels, or if your doctor has advised you to monitor your creatinine, estimated glomerular filtration rate, potassium, phosphorus, or sodium, please consult with your doctor or a qualified renal dietitian before making any significant changes to your diet. Every individual's body is unique. A food that is beneficial for one person may require caution for another. Taking care of your health involves more than just following advice blindly. It means listening to your body, asking pertinent questions, and seeking professional guidance when needed. If this video has helped you gain a better understanding of your kidneys, please like it, share it with someone over 60 who might benefit from this information, and subscribe for more straightforward, practical, and easy-to-follow dietary guidance designed to help you stay healthier, stronger, and more independent as you age. Remember this: getting older does not mean your body has stopped improving. Your body can still adapt, recover, and respond to better choices. You do not need to overhaul your entire life overnight. Begin with one healthier meal, one gentler habit, One kinder decision for your kidneys, your heart, and the body that has supported you throughout so many years. The choice ultimately rests with you. I wish you a peaceful, healthy, and energetic day. And as always, take a deep breath.